Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're looking at the top 10 Heroclix figures of 2023. So these are going to be my favorite 10 released over the year. Wheels of Vengeance will not be counted as it won't be here in time in the UK. So I won't really have a chance to play with them, see what I like. All of these figures on here, I own all but a couple. Some are like grail figures for me. DCeased is one of my favorite comics released maybe ever. So that gives away some of the stuff on here. But let's get into number 10 with my 10th pick, Morgan Lefay. Now this is a character that I've always liked. When it released in Chaos Wars, it was my favorite character at the time. Favorite character to use, I should say. And we've seen various iterations, we've seen legacy cards, but once again, we get this one isn't as competitive as the old one, it's not as powerful, but it's a lot of fun. It can summon zombies with mystics, which is just so cool. Imagine an army of zombies created by a necromancer just running forward at your enemy. There's not much to hate about this. Like I say, I don't think it's going to see any competitive play, but at those game tables, those battle royales, those fun days where you're just playing figures you like, this is definitely at the top of my list for that. It's got great keywords. It's got mystics itself. Like I said, it creates the zombies with mystics. It can do free mind control. It can mastermind to those zombies. So there's a lot of stuff to really like about this. It's quite powerful up close. Close combat expert with prob and empower. So it makes those zombies even more deadly. It is a super rare. I've tried to include some that aren't super rares, chasers and that stuff, but it's so difficult because we do get the better figures in those rarity slots. I do have one rare on here. We will get into that. Before we get into number 9 though, make sure you let me know your favorite figures released this year down below. I love just knowing people's favorite figures. Like, I find it interesting how people like different things. Obviously your favorite characters are going to be different to mine. So let me know in the comments. But let's get into number 9, the Kingpin. Now, a character I've always loved. Growing up, I used to watch the Spider-Man cartoon. Actually, strange fact, I used to watch that religiously, so I watched it every single night. And for some reason, I had like a football calendar, and every day I would watch it, or every night, I'd write on this calendar who the villain was. And that really just helped me learn the characters, learn a bit more about them. I don't know why I did it. It's such a weird thing looking back at it. Kind of cute. Just imagine like a little version of me just scrawling in his calendar. It came to the point where as a child, I never got in any trouble. For some reason, I'd done something and my nan was mad and there was no TV that night. Obviously, I was distraught as a child. It's the end of the world. She did then find my calendar, which explained why I was so upset. And she did actually let me watch it. But yeah, I don't know why I'm telling you this. It's just... that's why I love Kingpin so much. He was a massive part of that cartoon series. He was the big bad, and I've just loved him since. He was a big character in Marvel Heroes, which is maybe my favorite video game of all time. It's just, yeah, such a cool character, and this is the epitome of Kingpin. This is probably more than he deserves. This is like Thanos level of powers. It's unbelievable how durable this dial is. 19 defense invincible. He's got stop clicks. He's got a ton of knockback and charge and flurry, so he's even offensively, he's very dangerous with the outwit. There is not much to hate about this character. He is an absolute monster for 90 points. He is a prime, so obviously he'll take that slot in your team. And there are better primes out there, but for me, it's always going to be this one. He does also work with mission points, which I do enjoy. Might be in the minority here, but I like different ways to win the game. I hope they add more and more of that type of thing. I would just love to see Heroclix move slightly more into like an objective. Just something slightly more than team deathmatch. And this figure does some of that for me. Like I say, it's one of my favorite characters. One that holds a lot of memories for me in different things, in different games, cartoons. So he had to be on here somewhere. Coming in at number 8, I've gone for Darkseid. Look at this dial. The Kingpin is almost stronger for 90 points. That's absolutely insane. Darkseid's got a lot going for him though. For 250, he's got cosmic energy. He can ignore elevating characters when shooting. He's also got knockback and he works with mission points as well. You can probably see a trend here. Like I said, I do enjoy mission points. I don't enjoy some variations. Like there is an indigo version where you would change dials and then just heal up and you'd just put tons of barrier and just keep supporting. There's no interaction. This one, you have to get into their team. You have to knock them around. This is how mission points should be played. And Darkseid, yeah, is probably the best example of that. He's got phase in, then he can shoot, stop invincible super senses. He's got 2 stop clicks, and one of the stop clicks is an absolute monster on. Yeah, there's a lot to love about this. It's got 3 different dials, so you can play them at a ton of different points. And yeah, he's one of my favorite characters released in a long time. I really like the sculpt as well. I like the more cartoony style. Still looking very intimidating though. And that's what we expect from Darkseid. Moving into my number 7 though, completely flip-flop on that, and it's Daphne. Now, honestly, my whole list would probably just be the Scooby-Doo chases. I love Scooby-Doo growing up. Again, it was another cartoon I used to love. I think everyone used to watch Scooby-Doo growing up. So yeah, this whole list could just be those chases with a Batman and Robin as well. But I've tried to just pick my favorite. I think Daphne is maybe the best of them. Although saying that, I have got another one of them later on. But I've narrowed it down to 2, so you have to give me something for that. Now, the reason I chose her is between her and Shaggy. She has 3 targets up close, so she can in-cap 3 people, precision strike 3 people, and she also gets that free attack. Now, Shaggy can get a flurry, but it was the 3 target and the prob that really swayed it for me. Daphne's a cool character as well, so she's got team player, so she can copy other things. She's got unique modifier with the clue tokens, which I do really like as well. Again, any variation where you can bring other things into the game that aren't too powerful, because I don't think they're overpowered. You need to do a lot to get them off. I really enjoy. And this is all around the mystery ink. So yeah, it's just a great figure. I have started collecting them. I've got 2 of them so far. I've got Daphne and Velma. So if anyone in the comments wants to make a trade, my email is in the description. I would love to make a trade with you guys for some of these Scooby-Doo chases, because I do want to collect them all. But I've tried to keep this list very minimal, and I've only put the 1 on here. 60 points, 12 attacks. She's got knockback, perplex, super sensor, so she's hard to hit. There's a lot to love about this character. But let's move on to my number 6, and we've gone for Camo. Now, it could have been King Shark. They're both just insane sculpts, just a massive shark. Obviously, you might have seen on some older podcasts the Click Sharks thing, which is very much based on like the street sharks. Sharks in general are cool though, and this is no different. 19, 12 attack, 5 damage exploit. 110 points, he's got 3 targets. Absolute monster. He's got traded blades and steel energy. When Camo moves, before moving, you may place him adjacent to a friendly character within 4 squares. So he can just dart around the map. He can get in there very quickly, make an attack, and even drop a shark of his own. This is such a cool prime. I didn't get it in my brick. So again, it's one I'm going to be trying to trade for or potentially buy when it does get here in the UK. Yeah, it's just such a cool character. It's got good keywords. There's cosmic energy as well. I don't really know what this is. It might be like a cosmic version of King Shark, but I am absolutely here for it. It's just such a cool character, very strong dial. Those 2 stop clicks at the end with flurry shape change make it very hard to take down, with super sensors impervious as well. It's just going to be a figure you don't really want to deal with, but it's going to deal so much damage that you have to. Coming in at number 5, speaking of the other Scooby-Doo chase, I've gone for Scrappy-Doo. Now, in the cartoons, I wasn't the biggest fan of him. He used to wind me up a little. But I don't know. Just look at the sculpt. Tiny version of Scooby-Doo. You've got to love it, really. It's very powerful as well. Very playable, which is why I do like this one. It can be sideline active and it can be brought in on its lower click, or if it's a mystery ink character, which for me it is going to be like if I play even competitively, I'm going to try and make these guys work. So it would be nice to have this to be able to bring it in and make those characters slightly more powerful, because he does pack a punch. He's got 11 attack, 18 defense, close combat expert, so he's going to 12 attack, 3 damage, without wit. Scooby-Doo takes a maximum of 1 damage from characters with monster or mystical, and it can't be outwitted, which are 2 of the most popular keywords. He's for 25 points as well. If you do play him on your team, he's just an absolute monster. He can, when Scrappy-Doo hits, choose 1. Hit characters can't be given free actions or gain a mobile. So he does a lot of really powerful stuff for only 25 points, or for a sideline active. I love the name Let Me At Him as well. I like Scrappy-Doo now, but yeah, as a child, I don't know, he wound me up a little. But he is on this list at number 5. Number 4 is the only rare on this list, and that is Black Adam. Now, the reason for that is he's one of my favorite characters. He's in the top 5, maybe top 3. He's just a cooler Superman, basically. And this dial has a ton going for it. It's 200 points, but you get 19 defense with 4 close combat expert. So that's 13 attack, 5 damage pretty much with hypersonic. His defense is invincible, and characters can mastermind onto him, so it makes all of your characters have invincible pretty much if you want to put it onto him anyway. He's got cosmic energy and mystic, so you're going to be trying to hit through this invincible, and probably taking as much damage as you deal. No stop clicks. I think he probably would be too powerful with stop clicks. But I think he's pretty good anyway. He's got 4 range, hypersonic most of the dial, then he moves into charge and sidestep. So he is always mobile. It's just such a cool character. His mystics even like ping characters near the characters attacking. There's just a lot to love about this character. Normally Black Adams are like, or the Black Adams I like are like primes and stuff, and I've missed them in the past. I'm so happy to already have this figure. And it's going to be one in pulp that I'm going to try and make work constantly. Yeah, it's just a great version of the character. It's a great character, an absolute powerhouse. So it's good for me on and off the field. In at number 3, I've gone for Absorbing Man, another prime. There's quite a lot of primes on this list. But I just love how it's very comic accurate, and I don't think they've really, like, from what I've read anyway, this character was sort of split up because he was so powerful, which is why you have to bring those fragments together to sort of piece him together and bring him onto the map. I just think that's such a cool and clever mechanic, and it's one that I hope we see more of. I just love stuff where you can place things and move them around before the game even begins. There was an Anarchy Prime, which did the same with bombs. This one is a character reforming, and just look at that dial. He is an absolute monster. You are not going to churn through that. He's even got, at the beginning of your turn, you can choose a standard power, and you can use it until you choose again. Or this turn, sorry. But yeah, just you're probably not going to try and attack through him. He's got cosmic energy as well, so you can't outwit him. He's got starting on shape change. He's got good attack most of the way through. 20 defense at one point. He's just going to be so hard to deal with. But the reason he's on here, even though he can destroy blocking, he can get around the map, you're normally going to choose a movement power, honestly, because he's got other powers on his dial. But yeah, he can just do so much for a sideline active character, which is basically free. So he's very powerful. He's very comic accurate, which is always important for me. I do love the theme of this game. It's why I like these comic book characters and how they manage to fit them in and make them work so perfectly. And he is the best example of that. Speaking of comic book accurate characters, or comic book characters which have translated well for me, we've got Batman from DCeased. Now this is, like I said, one of my favorite comic books of all time. I would say Marvel Zombies is maybe top. I'm an absolute sucker for anything zombies or horror. So yeah, these are some of my favorite comic books. Taking a look at Batman then, he can give your whole team untargetable stealth. So there's no way to get around it. It says if Batman occupies hindering terrain, opposing characters can't use improved targeting. So they can't get around your stealth, but it's for your whole team if they're adjacent anyway, which is actually really powerful and makes your team very sneaky, very versatile, and it makes them sort of come to you or find a way around it, which there aren't many. And even when he dies, he comes back as that zombie, so he takes a damage a turn. Your friendly characters have safeguard mind control, and when they attack, opposing characters can't use shape change, which in the current metagame is very powerful. Obviously, we've got a ton of Spider-Man and other things with shape change, the Carnage Surfer, all the symbiote stuff. So it's actually really good even when it comes back, even though it is only going to be for like 3 turns at most. Although it doesn't say you can't heal, so you could always heal him up and just keep him around. I do really like these zombies. They're not overpowered, but they are very powerful, so you're able to use them in those friendly games. I don't think they're going to see any competitive play, but if they are, it's going to be via my number 1 pick, my favorite figure of 2023, DCeased Superman. Now, there's a few reasons for this. The comic book is a massive, what's the word? It's influencing my decision massively, because in the comic he's terrifying. Like, as soon as he's turned, they think that's it, it's over. And just, like I say, I love horror, and just the thought of this unstoppable creature tearing around the world is absolutely terrifying, even to the bravest and most powerful of heroes. It's just such a cool moment. And then when he sort of disappears and he's slowly feeding off the sun, it's so cool. It's such a cool moment. It's such a memorable moment. One of my favorite comic book moments. And that's why he had to be number 1. His dial is very powerful as well. Like I said, if one of these characters are going to be competitive, it's going to be him, because he is a nuisance even before he dies. So he's got 11-3 with leadership, invincible. So he is going to be somewhat hard to deal with or put down. He can sort of jump around, and then he can hypersonic. So he has got some movement to get around and just close that gap between characters. But if you do deal with him, you do manage to take him down, you're probably going to regret it as he moves on to his zombie clicks. with 11, 12, 13 attack, 20, 19, 18 defense, and upwards of 5 damage with a close combat expert, which actually puts him on 14 attack, that is monstrous. Excuse the pun. He's also got Pulse Wave. When he uses it, he may use range 8 instead of 4 and deal his printing damage value instead of 1. So potentially he could be doing a 13 attack, 4 damage Quake, Pulse Wave, which is going to absolutely obliterate everything around him. I want to see this happen. I will be content with a game of Heroclix when I see that happen. It's one that I still need to get hold of, and this is my grail figure. Like I said, it's my #1 release of the year. I didn't get it in my brick, but I did get a Black Lantern, so hopefully I can do a switch there. I am obviously going to be getting more of this, and we've got Wheels of Vengeance coming up, so maybe there's a trade I can work out for it. But that is my favorite figure of 2023. That is my top 10 list. Let me know yours in the comments below. That's all I've got for this video, though, so I will catch you in the next one.